Banner headline: CJ receives petitions against SP and the EC boss. That story is on page 3 of the Daily Guide. CJ receives petitions against SP. And of course, SP is Special Prosecutor and EC boss Jean Mensah. I'm sure this is a story a lot of you are interested in, and we'll get into the details shortly. Also on the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper, U.S. blocks visas for Ghana, 74 other countries. That story is on page 6 as well. And the details, of course, I'll provide for you. Huge illicit drugs seized at Takra Depot on page 3 of the paper. Angela List's lawyer denies her arrest. Comes with a picture of Angela List. There's also Kwewu makers drag Dasebre Ekwamwa in Japan the 2nd to Shraj. These are the stories that the Daily Guide is reporting this morning. I'll take you to the Ghanaian Times newspaper. On the front page, it says that Chotro drivers exploit passengers, make tot trips to make more money. Certainly, they are doing that now. And this is amongst the topics we'll be dealing with this morning here on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. This is alarm over under declaration of in raw rubber exports. That story is on page 20 of the paper. Avail yourself for scrutiny. Government to Ken Oforiatta. Comes with a picture of Felix Kwachiofosu yesterday. We'll get into the details of the story as well. You get to the back page of the Ghanaian Times. ICU Ghana kicks against proposed sale of Valco. The Industrial and Commercial Workers Union Ghana kick against proposed sale of Valco. Prison service to produce furniture, uniforms for schools. It comes with the pictures of Alhaji Muntaka Mohammed Mubarak with Haruna Idrisu. Looking on is the Director General of Prisons, Mrs. Patience Baffoe Bonnie. These are the stories the Ghanaian Times is reporting on its front and back pages. Front page, lean government under Mahama saves Ghana millions. That's according to Felix Ofosu-Kwakye, and that story is on page 3 of the paper. Also, elect Ken as flag bearer to secure victory. Natoshi urges NPP delegates. Story captured on page 2 of the Observer newspaper. Economic stability, opening room for business growth. Nana Oye Bampo Ado and Giadec and Metalloid GIBDLC sign $60 million deal to expand Ninahin bauxite project. These are some of the stories that the Observer is reporting on its front page. Also, U.S. will not block extradition of Oforiatta and Sedina Tamaklo. That's according to the Foreign Minister, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa. Petitions against OSP EC leadership forwarded to Chief Justice Minister for Government Communications. You're saying in your head that it is coming. We'll see. We'll get the details shortly. I'll take you to the Punch Africa newspaper. They say that truth stands. On the front page, President Mahama takes tough stance against firemen who brutalized Accra FM journalists. President Mahama takes tough stance against firemen who brutalized Accra FM journalists. Remember, some personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service assaulting the journalists around Kaswa. Yeah, that's the reaction President Mahama is giving. He is taking a tough stance against firemen who brutalized Accra FM journalists. Also, Ricketts Hagen treats Cape Coast South kids at annual outreach event. Dr. Ato Forsing and John Jinapor clears $1.47 billion energy sector debt. That story is on page 9 of the paper. Premix fuel price reduces significantly in January. That's according to the NPA, captured on page 8 of the Punch Africa newspaper. NPA boss pays working visit to Central Oil Refinery. on page 9 of the paper. Also on page 6 of the paper is this story: moot IMF is not the reason. According to Senor Hosi, we'll get the details on what he actually means, or what the paper is actually trying to communicate. Is from the Business and Financial Times. The story says growth returns to industry as economy grows 3.8%. Growth returns to industry as economy grows 3.8%. That story is on page 3 of the paper. Also, GCB Bank hands over renovated dormitory to Tamasco. So for students and old students of Tamasco, some good news for you. GCB Bank hands over renovated dormitory to Tamasco. That story is on page 3 of the paper. On economy, the story says economy loses $1.9 billion annually through post-harvest losses. Wow. $1 billion is lost on the economy through post-harvest losses, and this is annually $1.7 billion. My goodness. We'll get the details shortly. Also on the front page of the Business and Financial Times, GTDC digital tourism platforms harness strategic data to drive investment sector growth, captured on page 2 of the Business and Financial Times. The back page, EcoBank 5-star enjoyment promo rewards 3,060 customers with 1.5 million cities. Omnibasic relocate Kijetia branch for exceptional customer experience. These are some of the stories that the Business and Financial Times is reporting this morning. Now, a new paper in front of me, this one, they call it the Spider newspaper, And on the front page of the Spider newspaper is the story. Stool issues ultimatum over Manjo lands, warns of prosecution, cites shooting incident and Supreme Court rulings. Also, Agua is back. U.S. House clears 3-year extension, reigniting Ghana's export prospects. Also, Kodria's solo strike. Frimpong Boateng faces expulsion without NEC consent. The story says NPP General Secretary under fire for flouting party rules in unilateral action. Kodria's solo strike. That's how the paper framed the story. Of the Spider newspaper, Cell House Hara, inmates beat suspect to death in Kifo-Praso police cells. I do this for my family and my Hara, inmates beat suspect to death in Kifo-Praso police cells. Banner headline on the front page of the Spider newspaper is this story that 80 billion Ghana city energy debt bombshell. Mahama government says it inherited fiscal wreckage, forced to spend 42 billion cedis just to keep the lights on. This story interested a lot of you. Petitions against the OSP EC leadership forwarded to Chief Justice and the Minister for Government Communications. The story captured on page 4 of the Observer newspaper. It says that Minister in charge of Government Communications, Felix Kwache Ofosu, has confirmed that 10 petitions filed against Special Prosecutor Kisia Jabing and the chair of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, together with her 2 deputies, have been forwarded to the Chief Justice, Justice Paul Baffoe Bonnie, for review. The paper says that speaking at the Government Accountability Series in Accra on Wednesday, January 14, Mr. Kwache clarified that the president's role in the matter ends once the petitions are transmitted to the Chief Justice. He says that unlike the petitions against the Chief Justice, the president's mandate in respect of the petitions against the Special Prosecutor and the Electoral Commissioner and her 2 deputies ends with conveying the petitions to the appropriate quarters, which in this instance is the Chief Justice. This was done a couple of weeks ago, he said. He added a total of 10 petitions were received. Count with me: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Against the Electoral Commissioner and her 2 deputies. EC 10 petitions, 10. So for Jean Mensah and her deputies, Eric Bosman Asare. A newspaper that 10 petitions, a total of 10 petitions were received. 7 against the Electoral Commissioner and her 2 deputies, and 3 against the Special Prosecutor. The president has no role beyond that, and in that regard, we cannot speak to it. The Chief Justice's office may be in a good position to deal with the matter. To comment, the president will once again be called to act when the Chief Justice has determined the presence or absence of a prima facie. Remember the prima facie conversation since it started, the processes of the removal of the Electoral Commission chair, clearly stipulated in the Constitution. The petitions submitted by various individuals and groups allege misconduct. Those against the Special Prosecutor's side claims of incompetence and abuse of office, while the complaint against the EC leadership relates to accountability and the management of the Commission. 7 against the Electoral Commission, 3 against the Special Prosecutor. The paper says that under Section 16 of the Office of the Special Prosecutor Act 2017, and I'm talking about Act 959, any petition seeking the removal of the Special Prosecutor must follow a defined legal process. The President is required to forward such petitions to the Chief Justice within 7 days. The Chief Justice then has 30 days to determine whether a prima facie case has been established. If a prima facie case is found, the Chief Justice is required to constitute a 3-member committee to investigate the allegations and submit its recommendations to the President. And listen to this, the President is bound to act on the findings. You know that Mr. Ajabin has served as special prosecutor since 2021. He succeeded Martin Amidou, and his tenure has drawn mixed reactions, with some praising the office of the special prosecutor for advancing accountability. In fact, there are those who say that the office has fallen short of expectations. Some legal practitioners have also publicly criticized aspects of the OSP's work. One of them is private legal practitioner Martin Kwebu. He, for instance, has accused Mr. Jabin of extreme incompetence over the handling of matters relating to former Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. But this is the story. 10 petitions forwarded to the Chief Justice, 7 against the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, Eric Bosman-Asare, Mr. Samuel Tate, and then 3 against the special prosecutor. Let's now listen to the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwakye-Fosu, when he was addressing the media yesterday at the Government Accountability Series, when he made this note.
The special prosecutor and the electoral commissioner and her 2 deputies. Let me indicate that unlike the petition against the Chief Justice, the President's mandate in respect of the petitions against the OSP and the electoral commissioner and her 2 deputies ends with conveying the petitions to the appropriate quarter, which in this instance is the Chief Justice. That was done a couple of weeks ago. I think I announced same. A total of 10 petitions were received from various individuals and groups, 7 of them against the electoral commissioner and her 2 deputies, and 3 against the OSP, all of which have been sent to the Chief Justice. So the President has no role again in that, and in that regard, we cannot speak to it. I, as the President's spokesperson, cannot speak to it because I honestly do not know where things are. The Chief Justice's outfit will be in a good position to, maybe you may want to send inquiries to the Judicial Secretary for an update. The President will once again be called upon to act in that regard when the Chief Justice is done with determining prima facie whether there is a basis for it. When that happens, the Chief Justice will then set up a committee. In the case of the OSP, there are specific timelines that need to be met, but I don't think that similar timelines exist for the electoral commission and 2 deputies. So once a determination is made one way or the other on the veracity of the petitions so presented, then the President is mandated by law to act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee that will look into those petitions. So that is the process. But as I speak to you, there's nothing more for the President to do beyond waiting for the Chief Justice to do.
Telling you that 10 petitions have been received, all forwarded to the Chief Justice, 7 against the Electoral Commission, and then 3 against the Special Prosecutor. Of the Special Prosecutor. To remove the Special Prosecutor, this is Section 15 of the OSP Act itself. 17 Act 959. This is what it says, that the special prosecutor shall not be removed from office except for stated misbehavior or incompetence, and be incapacity to perform the functions of the office by reason of infirmity of body or mind. And then C says willful violation of the official oath or oath of secrecy. And then D, conduct which I brings or is likely to bring the office of the special prosecutor into disrepute, ridicule, or contempt. Or II is prejudicial or inimical to the economy or the security of the state. 2 says that a person who seeks to remove the special prosecutor from office shall submit a petition to the president. Where the president receives a petition for the removal of the special prosecutor, the president shall within 7 days refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall within 30 days determine whether there is a prima facie case established in the proceedings. Justice determines that there is a prima facie case, the Chief Justice shall within 14 days set up a committee consisting of 1, a chairperson who is Justice of the Supreme Court, a lawyer of at least 15 years standing at the bar. And then C says 1 other person with expertise in investigations. Of the special prosecutor, that's what I just walked you through. Let me walk you through the process again. Through the entire process of for the removal of the special prosecutor, and this is according to Act Section 15 of the OSP Act. Act 2017, Act 959. It says that the special prosecutor shall not be removed from office except for 1, stated misbehavior or incompetence. And for this one, Martin Kpebu has hammered on this, that the special prosecutor is incompetent. He has accused him of extreme incompetence. And that is one of the reasons or the conditions which your petition can be based on. B is incapacity to perform the functions of the office by reason of infirmity of body or mind. And clearly we can see that. I mean, the special prosecutor, Kizia Jabin, he's healthy. Well, he looks healthy in body and in mind. C, willful violation of the official oath or oath of secrecy. He says conduct which brings or is likely to bring the office of the special prosecutor into disrepute, ridicule, or contempt. It's prejudicial or inimical to the economy or the security of the state. And then 2 says a person who seeks to remove the special prosecutor from office shall submit a petition to the president. Where the receives a petition for the removal of the special prosecutor, the president shall within 7 days refer the petition to the Chief Justice, who shall within 30 days determine whether there is a prima facie case. Justice determines that there is a prima facie case, the Chief Justice shall, within 14 days, set up a committee consisting of, number 1 is a chairperson who is a Justice of the Supreme Court, number 2, a lawyer of at least 15 years standing at the bar, and 1 other person with expertise in investigations. In fact, let's repeat the voice of the Government Communications, Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu, while he explained the circumstances or the number of petitions that the President has received, and the President has forwarded all of them to the Chief Justice, 10 of them. 7 against the chairperson of the Electoral Commission and the deputies, and then 3 against the special prosecutor.
The special prosecutor and the electoral commissioner and her 2 deputies. Let me indicate that unlike the petition against the Chief Justice, the President's mandate in respect of the petitions against the OSP and the electoral commissioner and her 2 deputies ends with conveying the petitions to the appropriate quarter, which in this instance is the Chief Justice. That was done a couple of weeks ago. I think I announced same. And a total of 10 petitions were received from various individuals and groups, 7 of them against the electoral commissioner and her 2 deputies, and 3 against the OSP, all of which have been sent to the Chief Justice. So the President has no role again in that, and in that regard, we cannot speak to it. I, as the President's spokesperson, cannot speak to it because I honestly do not know where things are. The Chief Justice's outfit will be in a good position to, maybe you may want to send inquiries to the Judicial Secretary for an update. The President will once again be called upon to act in that regard when the Chief Justice is done with determining prima facie whether there is a basis for it. When that happens, the Chief Justice will then set up a committee. In the case of the OSP, there are specific timelines that need to be met, but I don't think that similar timelines exist for the electoral commission and 2 deputies. So once a determination is made one way or the other on the veracity of the petitions so presented, then the President is mandated by law to act in accordance with the recommendations of the committee that will look into those petitions. So that is the process. But as I speak to you, there's nothing more for the President to do beyond waiting for the Chief Justice to do.
This is something that we'll be keeping an eye on. However it progresses, we'll let you know. We'll tell you at each stage where the petitions have gotten to, what is happening to the petitions, what committees are being formed, what whoever is saying, and all the commentary that come with it. We'll let you know on Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Also on all our social media platforms at 3FM 927. Also on 3news.com. Good morning to you, those of you who have been able to join us online. Is introducing this conversation. This very bad attitude of trotro drivers to exploit passengers. If you were a trotro driver or you know any trotro driver, let them listen of the song. It is by Obrafo and the song is called Ntitiepa. Exploiting passengers, making tot trips to make more money. Unorthodox loading practices by some commercial drivers that are imposing additional financial burdens on commuters, with many passengers compelled to pay double their approved transport fares during peak hours, even when traveling to the same destination. In fact, it's a terrible habit. As I speak, my colleague Christian Yali.
Come on, y'all. Do the right thing. I send me the can. Raps off for me.
At the Medina station, around the Medina enclave. Let's cross over to him right now as he paints a picture for us of how bad the situation is. In general, the state of Ghana's transport system, and of course there'll be elements of the overcharging aspect of drivers, and then the scarcity of vehicles. When we'll take a listen to Christian Yali, we'll come and then we'll listen to Felix Kwachiofosu when he was speaking about this same subject yesterday. So first is Christian Yali.
So this is one of the electric buses that, were procured or brought. We understand that government is still working to bring a lot of them or get a lot of them coming through. This just arrived. This is the car that has just arrived. And you realize that mostly when it happens like this, because of those who call themselves bus conductors or regulators or whatever they are called here, they ensure that very few get into them, especially when they do not get to operate with them or they do not have that kind of accord with them. I will speak to some of those ones very shortly. But let me try to see if I can get, and these are school children or students who should have being on their way to school right now. Eja, you about TV3, so where are you heading to?
Accra.
Accra. For how long have you been here?
1.5 hours. 1.5 hour.
1.5 hour. You've been standing here to get a car.
Yeah.
How troubled are you right now? Because you are going to work and you waste precious hours here before you get to work.
Cousin na Emma. Cousin bedu na yama. Ebedu na yama. Nti da so ejina ye hwe se ye benya car.
So bedu adwum kra no abre dada.
Sape. Ebedu jana ya abre.
Then onya yanka ban beye afasa situation well.
Bakone say
FM 92.7
Aban from
Urban
car
Lifestyle Radio Station.
onto Aban buses in Gum. Sans individual cars no omudru ha aha no so no sky a ye je won no edoso. Enti no na omudru ha na drivers na ya on pese on be gina. Afei so no obehu say cars no dru ha na omofa passengers na omo just kan ma na bro fe na say omo je no eso nso yentu petrol mu ye aha eti ha adwemfo apaye wa ha.
In fact, Roland, that is a very concerning matter, talking about how some of these drivers get to exploit the passengers. But one thing that he wants government to do possibly is to bring a lot of the buses, which is something that the transport minister has indicated that they are so in talks with management of Metro Mass to ensure that a lot of their buses are brought in town. But this is the situation.
Ghana, my baby.
Land to weed.
They give you a plot of land to weed. When somewhere there, do you have a strong palm that helps you to? So you get to suffer in the process of weeding and all of that.
Yes, please.
This is an uncomfortable situation for you. What do you want government to do as a student who has to go through this on a daily basis?
You have to bring more buses, the electric buses, so that we can get to school early on time and have a good lesson.
They need to bring more buses so that we can get to school early on time. Roland, let me still take you through a lot of this. Yenyaka, I hear this madam tell me that Yenyaka, let me hear her vent her spleen and her frustration. Debbie, I'll go through sa amani hunu way and so when
sometimes we're going to town, you won't get car early. You stand there maybe around 11, 12 before you get a vehicle to Accra.
Around 11, you come here in the morning early like this, and you have to be here till 11.
You get it early. It's not always that you get it early. Yeah. So we are suffering. The government has to help us with the bus.
But where are you particularly heading to this morning?
Okay, I'm going to take 7. Yes.
It means that you need a car moving to Accra or Circle.
Anyone that I get, I will take.
Anyone that you get?
Yes, please. Either Accra or Circle. Then our lights are 37. Yeah.
You are losing precious hours standing here What do you want government to do particularly about this?
It should help us, at least to get us some buses that will be going rounds. So if we are going out, that buses can help us. That is the only thing that will.
Thank you so much. So there you have it. She wants government to intervene. She wants government to do something as urgently as possible about this. But let me take you to this side of the road, and you realize that there are still a lot more of queues here, and most of these people are heading to the La Paz area. Some of them are heading towards Enya, Sotium, and what have you. So you realize that under this footbridge, there are hundreds of people, scores of them, that have still been here for quite a long time. And for many of these, if I should ask them, you would realize that they've been here for an hour, no less than an hour, all in a bid or in an attempt to get a vehicle to get to their destinations. And looking at this time, most of them are going to work, and that is the real frustration. That's the real story about how bad our public transport system has been over the years. So all these are individuals losing precious hours, working hours here under traffic, and it's not even a traffic, so to speak, but in long queues, endless frustrations over the period. Senior, good morning. You're live on TV3. For how long have you been here?
Well, I've been here for about 20 minutes now.
For about 20 minutes now.
Yeah.
What are you for?
I'm going to Cantonment. Cantonment, yeah.
Cantonment.
Yeah.
To work, obviously.
Yeah.
How troubled are you on a daily basis that you have to come to be here in this long queues to get a ride or car to get to your workplace?
Well, it's very serious because we do this in the morning. You wake up very early in the morning to go to work. You close very early, late, and then you have to come and struggle again for about 2-3 hours before you get home. It's very hectic. I think the government should help us do something about it.
The transport minister told me yesterday that they are working with Metro Mass to bring a lot of buses onto the street. They started something during the Christmas New Year period that they brought a lot of the buses, at least eight of them, Accra Madina, Accra Nsawampo Kwase, Accra Kasua. Do you think that intervention would help? Also because we know that a lot of the trot drivers overcharge you guys.
Yeah, I heard the minister announce that there were about 8 buses to all the routes, but I did not feel it.
That was during the Christmas period?
Yes, I did not see anything of that sort. I live at Dodowa. All the time we commute all the way from Dodowa to here. I heard about 8 buses to Dodowa and all that. I did not see anything of that sort. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. So there you have it. He even is saying that even the first intervention that was announced by the minister during the festive period to deploy a lot of the buses onto the major or the busy corridors, he did not get to feel the impact of that, and so that has been the situation. You still see a lot of students who are still locked up in this long queue. There is even no end in sight. That is the right term I want to use. No end in sight, by way of not even being sure of how soon or possibly you're going to get a car to arrive here. Students, how worried are you that almost every morning you come here, you queue, you stand here for longer hours or minutes before you get a car to your school?
So please, we are used to it now. So we don't know, we always come here and stand here to get cars, so we are just used to it.
See, interestingly, he tells me that they are used to it, which is not far from the truth, because this has been the case over the years. When you arrive in school late, are you punished?
Yeah.
What punishment?
Sometimes we are told to go and weed or go and clear the rubbish dump.
Sometimes you are told to go to weed or clear rubbish. Senior, maybe just some few words from you as well. Where are you headed to this morning?
I'm going to Osu.
You're going to Osu?
Yeah.
For how long have you been here?
Almost 30 minutes now. 30 minutes now.
30 minutes now. You go through this almost every day?
No, so I don't mostly use this, but then today I missed, an opportunity to use another ride, so I decided to join the queue from here. So I'm even new to this kind of queue from here.
Thank you. So that is the situation. Let me give you a final snapshot of how it is looking along this busy corridor this morning. When you get here and you realize that there are still more people who are massing up here, there are still more people who are ending up in these long queues, there are still more people who do not know what time they get to leave this site, this particular spot, to get to their various destinations. But just in wrapping up, let me just give you a better view of this and how it looks like. But quickly, a lot of you guys, senior, minim se mona debiano, moshe se trotro for no ba, mobema amanfonya ka atena mu na akọ adwuma. But ya complaining bebre se mo so eya na mo ha adwen dodo.
Yeah, hard dream.
Yeah, na mo di nua ehwehwe cars ni mu ni ade na mo say move ni ade.
Enya no kura wan so ba obi a no kitadua.
Se bi afa na mo asesa.
No, yeah.
Person na mo nyesa.
Enya sa na eti kura no no.
Ba me hu bi da o.
Oh,
na me te ha o.
Oh, e bia na enya yen time we. When why? E bia na ye emre foforo ba ye ndie yetimi kase ade edua ebe bobo kamu apam. No, passengers na wo muntina ye wa.
Yeah. He says they are here for the passengers, and all of this speaks to the fact that we need a better regulation. Right now, the transport system, especially the public transport system, is largely dominated by the private sector. One that you say that is largely not controlled, and so who get to regulate the fares? Who get to regulate how often we get cars moving on our roads? GPRTU, GRTCC, and related agencies or organizations or bodies have been making effort over the period to sanitize our road transport system, but this challenge needs resolve. This challenge needs urgent address. See people lined up here, still waiting. Precious hours, minutes, a lot of them, before they get rights to get to their various destinations. This is not a story that Ghana wants to tell at this moment. I am Christian Yale with...
When we open the phone lines on 0559-242-2717, 0559-242-717, I'll take the number again, 0559-242-717 or 0556-910-154. When you call us for this morning, please topic. The team would appreciate it if you can stay on this topic. The state of Ghana's transport system. You can talk about the absence of buses, the lack of buses. You can talk about the stress in commuting to and from work. You can talk about the traffic situation. And then this very bad habit of trotro drivers and their mates to exploit passengers, as captured in the Ghanaian Times newspaper. It is an orthodox loading practice by some commercial drivers, imposing additional financial burdens on commuters, with many passengers compelled to pay double the approved fees or the approved fares during peak hours in the mornings and in the evenings when traveling to the same destination. The situation is affecting commuters traveling to and from various parts of the national capital. It is not only happening in Medina or Circle or Accra. Wherever you're going, they are doing that. Ashaiman to Accra, to Circle. If you're leaving Circle to somewhere, Dome, they'll tell you Achimota, they'll tell you Old Station. It's so bad. If the fare from Circle to Dome is like 8 cities, because of the tot trips these drivers want to go to, you end up paying like 15 cities to get to the same destination. And the annoying part is that they end up going to that same place. But when you ask them if they are going to the last stop, they'll tell you no. But eventually they'll end up there just because they want to make more money. All of you drivers and mates who do this song is for you, Nyanti Tiapa. Trotro drivers continue to fleece commuters by breaking the journey into bits and pieces. Although the approved fee from Circle to Nselm is 12 cedis, passengers will end up paying as much as 30 Ghana cedis because the drivers will split the journey into halves. Circle to Achimota, Achimota to Amasaman, Amasaman to Insawam. And they charge 10 cedis for each segment, each short distance. What kind of attitude is this? Circle to Kaswa should cost you about 11 cedis. But instead of the drivers loading Kaswa straight, they'll load from Circle to Kaneshi and they'll charge you 4 cedis. When they get to Kaneshi, these same drivers will load to Odoko and then they'll charge you 6 cedis. And then from Odoko to Kaswa, that one they will charge you like 10 cedis. So when you drivers and you mates, when you do this, what are you seeking to gain? I know you Sixtus, you've experienced something like this before. Good morning to you, Sixtus.
You know, this week has been a different experience for me. So, and so this morning, for instance, I had to use 3 different vehicles. I started with a taxi up to a point. I took a trotro up to a point. Then from another point to a final point, another Trotsky. And I was telling somebody I was moving with that in all of this, it's not just that they are charging you more than they should charge you. The attitude you also even get from the mate, the flex. You know, ideally they would announce Accra, Circle, Medina, you see those things. But this one, the car will come and stop there. People are dropping. You are asking this mate, where are you headed? It's like he's not minding you. You're on your own. Then he responds at the time that he wants to respond. So it's not just about how much they are charging, but also the kind of stress that they put passengers through. Really, I don't think that... I honestly wonder how this could be resolved because of the nature of the transport sector. There's autonomy. There's that sector is liberal. It's a free market. I'm not sure how government can handle that, or the transport ministry can deal with that, outside of appealing to the senses and sensibilities of operators. I really wonder. Maybe they would have to do Takashi by flooding the roads with buses, just so to water down the impact or the influence of the... Look, yesterday, Abiam and I left here and said we were going to the bus stop just opposite the Jubilee House. We stood there for 30 to 40 minutes. We had to come back to the office to wait till around 8 something to leave.
That was your first experience, eh?
That was my first experience. So you see, and Christian did a beautiful report from the 37 station last night on News 360 on TV3. So if you look at it appears the demand has suddenly gone higher. And we're asking, are there no metro mass buses that are parked there doing nothing?
They have all broken down.
Are there no STC buses that are lying there, not
broken down?
All of them. In fact, STC, I have a story that I am dealing with. I'm still looking for more.
All of them.
But the way STC is treating the Accra passengers, it's terrible, it's horrible. It's no cool. But right now, let's talk about inside Accra.
But let's get the views of some of our listeners. Call us 0559242717, 0556910154. Hello, good morning. We lost the caller there.